Maayong gabi sa inyong tanan diya, no? Especially sa mga naminaw karon sa Bombo Radyo Butuan. And pala, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Good evening po sa lahat kung saan man kayo sa mundo. I think we are live on Facebook, Bombo Kevin. No? So may gabi sa tanan and good evening.
So, Attorney, we are pleased to have you here. Although late night, pero binagyan mo kami ng chance na marinig ang iyong mga legal na mga pananaw regarding sa mga usapin sa ngayon sa ating bansa. So, first and foremost po, Attorney, sa usapin dito sa International Criminal Court sa kaso ni former President Rodrigo Duterte, Attorney, pwede ba nating malaman kung Attorney Del Rosario, ano yung legal na kahalagahan ng desisyon ng International Criminal Court Pre-Trial Chamber na kinumpirma ang mga kaso against dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte?
Okay, thank you for that question, Bombo Kevin. No? So ito po ay 2 araw pong nangyari, no? Sunod-sunod, magkakasunod po. The first day po, nung April 22, ay nag-decide din ng ICC Appeal Chamber, which actually denied the appeal of Kaufman, yung lawyer ni President Rodrigo Duterte, questioning the jurisdiction of the ICC over Rodrigo Duterte. So na-affirm na po yun. Basically, it tells us na wala na pong pwedeng i-question pagdating sa jurisdiction ng ICC kasi final na po yun. So the following day naman po, which is kanina, naglabas naman po ng, yesterday pala, naglabas naman ng pre-trial chamber na kinukumpirma na ang charges against President Rodrigo Duterte. Equivalent po niyan, for context na rin po sa mga nakikinig, equivalent po niyan sa Pilipinas ay ang pre-trial. So basically, the confirmation of charges, if we remember it correctly, the previous weeks po ay nagpresenta na po ng evidence ang prosecution. Pinisenta na po during pre-trial ang mga iba't ibang mga ebidensya that will tell the court that there is reason para we will proceed to trial. No? Basically, during the pre-trial, dinetermine ng pre-trial chamber na meron ngang basihan para tayo ay mag-proceed to trial. So the next step, Bombo Kevin, will be the full trial already.
Okay. Attorney, pwede bang malaman para sa ating mga listeners, viewers po sa ngayon, ano po ibig sabihin ng substantial grounds to believe at paano ito naiiba sa ginagamit ninyo sa actual nga trial, Attorney?
Okay, so ang tinatawag po dyan, Bombo Kevin, is yung quantum of evidence natin. No? Just for context, ang quantum of evidence, for example po, for a criminal case po, the quantum of evidence is guilt beyond reasonable doubt. No? Familiar tayo sa terminology na yan. And even sa ating impeachment court, may quantum of evidence na ginagamit, which is probable cause naman. Di ba, narinig natin yan?
Yeah.
Even during preliminary investigation. Ang quantum of evidence po ng pre-trial chamber ng ICC is the sufficient ground to believe that President Rodrigo Duterte committed the crime and that a crime must be committed. Actually, very similar yan sa preliminary investigation na ginagawa dito sa Pilipinas, Bombo Kevin. No? So basically, hindi pa po sinasabi ng ICC pre-trial chamber na guilty si Rodrigo Duterte. What they are saying now is that naniniwala kami na meron tayong sapat na basihan, sapat na ebidensya, and sapat na grounds para i-proceed natin to a full trial. Tapos doon na po sa full trial, Bombo Kevin, doon na ilalabas lahat ng mga testigo, lahat ng mga ebidensya, and lahat po ng mga makakapagpatunay that Rodrigo Duterte is involved or was a perpetrator sa crimes against humanity, against sa mga namatay during the war on drugs.
Okay. Attorney, sinasabi ng International Criminal Court na may common plan para i-neutralize ang mga pinaghihinalaang kriminal. Now, ano ang legal na implikasyon nito sa konsepto ng indirect co-perpetration po?
Okay. So basically, when there is a common plan, it tells us kasi kumbaga there are different layers of involvement sa isang kaso. Hindi lang, for example lang natin, I don't know kung pwede ito sa Facebook pero for example, if you commit a crime, kunyari ikaw ang nagbaril, di ba, sa isang tao, basically you are the principal na perpetrator. Ikaw yung pinaka-involved talaga. Ikaw yung diretsong pumatay. So ang tawag dyan dito sa Pilipinas ay principal by direct participation, no? Meron ding iba na kunyari ikaw ang nag-utos, principal by inducement naman ang tawag doon. So ibig sabihin, ang sinasabi dito ng ICC chamber, if there is a common plan, basically hindi lang isang tao ang gumawa nito. There are a lot of people involved here. Maraming mga co-perpetrators kasi hindi naman kaya ni Rodrigo Duterte i-carry out lang ito mag-isa. Right? So kaya nga po ang nangyari dito, this became a system eh. Parang hindi naman sinasabi na si Rodrigo Duterte ang pumatay sa thousands during the war on drugs. What the ICC is saying and what the prosecution is saying is that it became a system of impunity already. Ibig sabihin, Rodrigo Duterte was the mastermind. Kumbaga siya yung nag-orchestrate ng lahat ng ito, na ang lahat ng ahensya ng gobyerno or lahat ng sistema sa gobyerno natin that are involved ay magiging co-perpetrators kasi nga this is a systemic na policy eh. Kumbaga hindi siya isang tao lang ang gumawa.
Which the next question is yung mga direct anong term yun? Perpetrators. Yung mga direct perpetrators, attorney. Is there possibility na the co-perpetrator nga going to full trial? How about this direct na mga direct umano na mga perpetrators po?
Yes, definitely no. Pero ang nangyayari kasi sa atin, since the ICC has limited resources din, kumbaga, alam naman natin na kung sino na yung mga napangalanan na co-perpetrators. Nandyan si Senator Bato de la Rosa, Senator Bongo, even Vice President Sara Duterte was named as one of the co-perpetrators pagdating po sa complaint before the ICC. Basically po, for me, personal view ko to is also as a lawyer, ang ginagawa po ni ICC is gusto nilang tapusin muna yung kaso ni Rodrigo Duterte para po maging basihan din ito for it also to be the basis or kumbaga magiging jurisprudential po ito on their part para po ma-pursue din nila yung mga other co-perpetrators. Kasi nga, in the greater scheme of things, since Rodrigo Duterte was the president and he was the one who created the policy na dapat kayong pumatay, no? So basically, siya yung magiging, kumbaga, siya yung pinaka-mastermind. And whatever the results of the decision doon sa ICC court investigating the crimes against humanity against Rodrigo Duterte ay magiging basihan para po ma-pursue din yung mga co-perpetrators niya and even yung mga accomplices, no. Ganito po kasi Bombo Kevin, no.
Yeah.
Meron na po mga ibang principal or yung mga direct actors na nakasuhan na po dito sa bansa natin sa Supreme Court. In fact, yung mga pumatay po kay Kian de los Santos, yung 16-year-old po na pinatay allegedly because he was involved in drugs but eventually we all found out na inosente pala siya and he wasn't really a runner. Mga police po na involved doon ay nakasuhan na. Okay, so kung titignan mo kasi Bombo Kevin, kunyari ako isang police, pumatay ako na isang tao, that cannot be considered as a crime against humanity kasi isang tao lang naman yung pinatay ko. So that for me, it will be more prudent kung i-pursue siya dito sa local courts. Kasi nga it won't entail a lot of resources anymore and baka nga hindi siya ma-convict pagdating doon sa ICC because ang involvement lang naman ay isang drug case lang.
Okay.
But ito kasi compounded to Bombo Kevin eh. Kumbaga isang police, isang pinatay. Pero ito kasi we're talking about thousands of policemen, no? Isang sistema kasi to. So ang ginagawa ngayon ng ICC, doon tayo sa pinakataas. Doon tayo sa nag-utos. Doon tayo sa gumawa ng polisiya or the culture of impunity na nagsasabi sa mga polis na sige lang, pumatay lang kayo. Kasi ako bahala sa inyo, sagot ko kayo. Parang ganun yung mangyayari. Kasi I don't think also that the ICC will have the time and the resources to pursue all of these thousands of policemen na involved doon sa war on drugs, di ba? So, pinakamaganda yung gawin nila, i-pursue natin yung mga policemen dito sa local courts. If there are really abuses, then yung mga perpetrators na nasa taas, na nag-utos, na nag-orchestrate ng lahat ng ito, dali natin sa ICC. Kasi in that sense, Bombo Kevin, kasi there will be no bias. Kasi itong mga tao na nasa taas, these are very powerful people. And they can very much manipulate yung magiging outcome dito sa Pilipinas.
Pero how would you consider, base na rin sa mga pagsaliksik nyo po at study ng batas, attorney, how about, example lang natin, si De La Rosa. Paano yan?
Yeah.
Sa tingin nyo?
Okay. So the involvement of De La Rosa, hindi lang po when he was the PNP Chief of Staff. He was a PNP Chief, sorry. He was the PNP Chief.
Yeah.
It goes back to when he was the head of PNP sa Davao. Okay, so Davao City siya yung head ng local police. Tapos si Rodrigo Duterte ang mayor. Kasama pa po yung time na yon kasi ang pinopursue po dito ng ICC is from 2011 nung sumali tayo sa ICC until 2019 when we withdrew from the ICC. Kailan ba naging presidente si Rodrigo Duterte? 2016.
Yeah.
So basically, ang pinopursue po ni ICC dito is from 2011 to 2015. So yung involvement ni Bato de la Rosa doon is nung siya ay local chief of police. Okay, so from 2016 to 2019, yun naman yung time na PNP chief siya. Kaya nga po, ang pinadala po doon sa ICC as one of the witnesses ay si Roger Matobato. Kasi Matobato was one of the gunmen doon pa sa time sa Davao, yung tinatawag pa na Davao Death Squad. So basically, hindi lang po ito during the time when Rodrigo Duterte was the president.
So, yung mga posibleng mga warrant of arrest against this, even yung Justice Secretary at iba pang mga hepe rin ng gobyernong Duterte, sa tingin mo, attorney, may lalabas na mga warrant and paano yan ma-handle sa ngayon na 'di ba may anong term yan, ruling na ba yung Supreme Court sa paghawak ng mga taong may case sa labas ng ating bansa?
Yeah, well, the Supreme Court, yung decision ng Supreme Court, it tells us that the Supreme Court is actually respecting the authority of the ICC. No? Sinabi naman ng Supreme Court dito na during the time when we were still a member of the ICC, dapat nating panagutan kung ano man ang maging hatol ng ICC or kung gusto man sila ipahuli, dapat irespeto yun ng Philippine government. Diba? So basically, ang mangyayari dito, if maglabas ng warrant of arrest ang ICC, it's up to the Marcos government now whether to enforce that or not. Kasi si ICC po, since wala na siyang jurisdiction sa Pilipinas, hindi po siya pwede magpadala ng police dito, hindi po siya pwede magpadala ng Interpol dito para siya mismo mag-utos sa mga police na to. Nahulihin niyo yan si Senator Bato. Kailangan po ng kooperasyon ng Presidente ng Pilipinas, ng kooperasyon ng DILG, ng PNP, para po mahuli itong mga taong pinangalanan na co-perpetrators sa ICC. No? With that notion, may intindihan natin ngayon that it all started nung nag-away talaga si President Bongbong Marcos at saka si VP Sara Duterte, because I don't think kung hindi sila nag-away, napapayag si Marcos or si BBM, si President BBM, na ipahuli si Rodrigo Duterte within our locality. Meron din naman kasing legal basis. We have a local law, yung crimes against the international crimes na law dito sa Pilipinas, no? Which basically states there that the Philippines may surrender those who have pending cases before international tribunals like the International Criminal Court. No, and in that sense, even the ICC acknowledged that. Kasi sinabi ng ICC during the confirmation of charges hearing that President Rodrigo Duterte was actually surrendered by the Philippine authorities to the ICC. Hindi siya hinuli ng ICC, hindi siya hinuli ng Interpol. He was surrendered by the Philippine government. So mismo ang administrasyon ni Bongbong Marcos ang nagdala kay Rodrigo Duterte papunta sa The Hague.
Okay. Any possible legal na actions pa kaya pwedeng gawin ng Duterte camp, attorney, before the trial proper?
Well, here's the problem, Bombo Kevin. No?
Yeah.
Ito yung problema dito. Number one, akala kasi ni Rodrigo Duterte na kapag mag-withdraw na tayo sa ICC, ma-absuelto na siya. And upon that withdrawal, dito tayo nagkakaproblema ngayon. Since hindi na tayo member ng ICC, we don't have a place anymore to negotiate with them. No, we don't have the status anymore para kausapin si ICC or sabihin kay ICC na we can already pursue that kasi ICC only comes in Bombo Kevin kapag yung local courts or the local authorities do not have the capacity or kung ayaw i-pursue yung case. But if sabihin ni Bongbong Marcos, if sabihin ng Supreme Court natin sa ICC na, kaya namin yang i-pursue dito, kaya namin yang i-prosecute dito si Rodrigo Duterte, baka pumayag pa si ICC. But the thing is, tinanggal yung leverage na yan, tinanggal yung opportunity na yan because we withdrew from the ICC. Kung member state pa sana tayo, papakinggan sana tayo kasi hindi na tayo member state eh. So, double whammy ito kay Duterte, yung pag-withdraw talaga, with the withdrawal from the ICC. Double whammy on their end. So, before magsimula yung trial, basically, ang gagawin na lang dito, even Kaufman naman kasi sinabi niya defeated na siya eh. So, defeatist na yung attitude ni Kaufman. Sinabi niya na expected na daw talaga nila na magpo-proceed to sa trial and matatalo na daw talaga sila. So, basically, I don't think they will file any more remedies kasi kung mapapansin mo, yung remedies na sinubmit nila Kaufman, these are remedies of delay. Para ma-delay lang yung trial proper talaga. But, I don't think ma-delay pa ito anymore.
Okay. So, sa tingin mo, attorney, mga ilang taon, posible yung battle na yan?
Okay, so if we're going to look at previous ICC cases na may conviction, Bombo Kevin, ang pinaka-average siguro is around, kasi depende yan sa kaso, depende sa evidence 85% and depende sa gaano ka-strong yung kaso ni prosecution. If you're going to look at history, on average, Kevin, nasa 10 to 20 years talaga siya bago masettle. Because kung papapansin mo, per proceeding ng ICC, kada step ng proceeding, umaabot ng ilang buwan, di ba? So, confirmation, before the confirmation of charges, parang 8 buwan ata yun. Then, after nung hearing ng confirmation of charges, inabot pa sila ng ilang linggo bago nag-come up with a decision. So, it will take time. So, ang ginagawa po ng ICC dyan, just like our local courts here, magpepresenta siya ng isang testigo. Right? So, the following naman nun, magre-reschedule na naman for another testigo. So, meron din silang one witness rule na isang araw, isang witness, isang araw, isang ebidensya. Parang ganun po yung mangyayari. So, matatagalan po talaga siya. So, yeah, looking at the previous cases, mga nasa 10 years po yung average kasi.
10 years. So, tapos tayo sa Pilipinas niyan, puyatan ba talaga yan, attorney?
Yeah, definitely. If gusto talaga natin itong tutukan, puyatan talaga ito. And in all fairness naman with Duterte, sobrang strong pa rin ng support ng mga tao sa kanila. So I think tututukan talaga ito ng taong bayan. Sana lang wag tayo mapagod na tutukan ito, no? Because this is also, kahit sabihin na nila na isang tao lang si Rodrigo Duterte, but at the end of the day, this is national interest eh. Kasi this is a systemic na accusation. Hindi lang naman si Rodrigo Duterte ang may gawa nito. Ang buong akusasyon na to ay against the entire Philippine government during the Duterte administration. No, kasi there are a lot of key players here. Hindi lang naman si Rodrigo Duterte as the president, you also have the PNP, yung involvement nila. You also have the even nga yung mga anong tawag dito, yung mga barangay officials are also, kung titignan mo yung system, they can also be involved. So even the local officials can also be involved, depende kung saan locality nangyari yon. So basically, it will take so much time. Pero ang ano ko din, even if I'm not supporting the Dutertes, pero I really hope na yung mga let's all parang tutukan natin itong lahat. Kasi this is going to be interesting on the part of the Philippines kasi nga it's not only against one person, it's the entire Philippine government.
Any comments sa mga nagsabing parang bias na yung desisyon ng sa mga pangyayari ngayon attorney, International Criminal Court against the former president?
Well, as an officer of the court, kahit hindi na tayo member ng ICC, there's always the presumption of regularity and validity when it comes to the conduct of the courts. So basically, what ang ibig sabihin lang po nun, ay nirerespeto po natin ang proseso na ina-undergo po ng mga courts in determining kung ano talaga yung magiging desisyon nila. So we can always question it by proper legal remedies, katulad ng ginagawa nila Kaufman na pag-aapila. Pero at the end of the day, whatever the decision is, if it's final, then we respect it. No, we can always assume biases, pero that's basically I don't think there's bias because that's basically the reason why the International Criminal Court is there. Kasi para walang bias. Kasi nga they are a third party. Wala silang bansang pinapanigan, wala silang taong pinapanigan. These are justices who are not privy to what's happening in the Philippines. Hindi nila alam kung ano yung nangyari sa Pilipinas, hindi nila alam kung ano yung political climate sa Pilipinas, and they are just basing their decisions on whatever the evidence presented. No? Yeah, so yun yung ano natin doon. Let's respect the decision of the court, the International Criminal Court. Whether or not there's bias, ay depende na po sa appreciation ng mga judges sa evidence ay ipepresent ni prosecution and sa defense.
Attorney, kung sa law, being a legal and law expert attorney, sa pag-analyze nyo din po naman sa ating mga kababayan regarding sa reaction, would you believe na polarized yung Pilipinas sa ngayon dahil dito? And ano lang yung payo nyo po sa siguro mga anti and pro Duterte attorney? Okay,
so basically, if you're going to look at the records of the ICC, this is one of kumbaga, yung interim release ni Duterte, ito yung mga ginawang justification ng ICC court judges kung bakit hindi nila grinant yung interim release ni Duterte. Kasi sinasabi nila dito that the influence of the Dutertes is still very strong dito sa Pilipinas. And what will that tell you? Kumbaga, Duterte can still orchestrate or kaya niya pa ring patakbuhin some of the agencies in the government or even even the private sector para tulungan siya na makatakas from the ICC, no. So banking from that, no. Isa din sa mga sinabi nila doon ay sinite din nila doon is the attitude of the supporters. No, kasi if babalikan natin, Bombo Kevin, maaalala mo, even the Instagram accounts of the judges, di ba? Even the Facebook accounts of the judges and the ICC itself, binombard po ito ng mga comments ng mga Duterte supporters. Ginawan pa sila ng fake news na kaibigan daw ni Liza Marcos, etc. etc. So, this became one of the basis ng ICC. Sa pag-decide nila sa interim release, which tells you na even sila, they have an idea how polarized it is in our country. No? Very polarized talaga. Because you know why? The camps, I'm not going to say na DDS lang ito, the camps refuse to listen to each other. No? Kasi meron na tayong mga sariling biases natin. No? Ang dami ng mga issue na na-involve yung mga politikang sinusuportahan natin, but we still continue to support them. Bakit? Because probably because number one, we are already blinded sa mga nagawa nila. Sa mga nagawa nila and sa mga pagtataksil nila sa bansa natin. Second kasi, I think human nature na rin ito, Bombo Kevin, that it's hard to say na nagkamali ka ng sinuportahan. Medyo mahirap din sa ego mo on your end na sabihin na ay oo nga, tama ka pala, no? mali pala talaga yung pagsuporta ko sa taong ito. No? So, ang advice lang natin talaga always, no? Even sa Facebook, sinasabi naman natin ito, na always keep an open mind. Ako, to be honest, Bombo Kevin, I actually follow yung mga DDS vloggers. No? I also want to know their perspectives about all of these things. Kasi nga, baka may na-miss out ako. Personally, baka, oy, tama nga naman pala sila, no? Pwede naman pala ito. So, let's all keep an open mind, no? About all of these things, no? Hindi ibig sabihin na Duterte supporter ka, hindi ibig sabihin na kakamping ka, hindi ibig sabihin loyalista ka, forever ka nang maging DDS loyalista kakamping, no? You should always have a room for discussion, for discourse, and at the end of the day, dapat ang isipin mo ang kapakanan ng bansa and kapakanan ng mga Pilipino.
Masasabi ba nating much better yung nangyari ngayon o sa posibleng mangyari pa sa mga susunod na panahon na may korte na hahandle ng certain issue, certain case instead of ano yan, attorney? Desisyonan na lang sa labas at ano yan, bangayan na lang at hindi na wala ng korte na pwedeng maging mag-settle or magdesisyon sa isang kaso, attorney?
Well, that will lead to chaos. No? The reason why our courts are there is para sila yung final na magsabi na, oh, tama ka dito or mali ka dito. Kung wala tayong korte, basically what you're saying is, di ba, court of public opinion, na parang let the people decide kung sino talaga yung totoong guilty. That is very dangerous kasi nga, we all have our own biases. May sarili-sarili tayong pinaniniwalaan, may sarili-sarili tayong prinsipyo, may sarili-sarili tayong values, may sarili-sarili tayong mga experience na ginagamit natin in making our decisions. So basically, the Supreme Court is there in order to be the impartial judge or the impartial na magde-decide, no, in all of these things, no. Even ultimo, kahit nga yung mga away natin sa pamilya natin, you have the barangay to help you decide. Even yung mga utang-utang, you have your courts, your small claims courts to decide kung sino talaga yung may kasalanan. Kasi if we don't have these courts at tayo-tayo lang, sigurado baka nag-civil war na tayo dito sa Pilipinas. Because tayong lahat, we will stand by what we know, we will stand by what we think we know, and we will stand by our personal truths. No? So yun.
So dapat doon na yung challenge na kung ano yan, attorney, kung may reklamo ka, patunayan mo. Kung ikaw yung nireklamo, isirain mo din yung part na kanilang mga ebidensya with a good naman talaga na ebidensya na ano yan, attorney? Pangkontra sa kanilang mga evidence na hinahawakan.
Counter evidence, parang
no? Yes, attorney.
Hindi, ibig sabihin, counter evidence, counter mo kung ano yung sinasabi nila.
Yan. So, trial, much better, sa akin lang much better na nasa trial mode kasi para wala ng issue, dinggin o pakinggan na lang natin kung ano yung mga magiging mangyayari. O kung mapapatunayan, depende na yan sa mga huwes and not by trial by publicity. Attorney.
Correct.
Attorney, baka lang may hindi ako natanong regarding dito sa kay former Rodrigo Duterte, former President Rodrigo Duterte sa International Criminal Court, or can I jump off sa next topic po, attorney?
Go ahead po. Go ahead.
Okay. Sige. Attorney, any statement po regarding sa nangyaring hearing sa impeachment complaint against the Vice President, Sara Duterte, attorney?
Yeah, we were fortunate enough, Kevin, no, nandun tayo in person. We were listening to the entire proceeding in person, and marami talagang, actually, iba talaga kung manonood ka lang sa bahay, no, at saka iba talaga kung manonood ka in person kasi marami mga nuances na nakita mo. May mga, even I was actually very fortunate na after nung hearing, nakausap ko pa si our Congressman Joboy Aquino of the city of Butuan, and naging din tayo ng feedback sa kanya on what the proceedings were about and kung ano yung magiging decision niya. Hindi ko na lang muna i-divulge kung ano yung sinabi niya sa akin, pero at the end of the day kasi, ito yung ano doon, ito yung maganda dito. The Vice President was actually given the opportunity to defend herself. Binigyan siya ng opportunity dito ng House Committee on Justice para biglang linaw ang mga akusasyon against her. Kung maalala mo, Bombo Kevin, last year, nung nagkaroon ng nung in-impeach ng House of Representatives si Sara Duterte, ang reklamo niya sa Supreme Court, hindi siya binigyan ng opportunity, wala daw due process. Hindi siya binigyan ng copy ng complaint, hindi siya binigyan ng chance para defend yung sarili niya. Pero dito na binigyan na siya ng chance sa i-defend yung sarili niya, hindi naman siya umate. That's number one, no. Ang point lang naman dito, and we've said it a lot of times already, kung wala kang kinakatakutan, ba't ka nagtatago? Ba't hindi ka humaharap? No. Pangalawa po, ang mga ebidensya na present during the second hearing na ginanap noong April 22, these are hindi to basta-basta na accusations. No? You have accusations coming from Senator Trillanes about linking them to receiving money from an alleged drug lord. Meron din tayong documents coming from the AMLAC which actually tells us that the Dutertes have billions of transactions under their name. No, we also have the SEC telling us that Sara Duterte is still a member or parang a stockholder or an officer of several corporations, which is not allowed under our laws na kung vice president ka, nakahawak ka pa rin ng posisyon sa isang korporasyon. And there are also allegations nga of which is very important, yung sa kanyang salin. Na hindi siya nag-declare ng certain amount sa kanyang salin. And there are also parang glaring na copy-paste lang ng mga amounts from one year to another. No? So these are all very telling, Bombo Kevin. And these are all serious allegations of corruption against the Vice President.
Okay. Pero kumusta yung pag-handle? Ano yung nakikita mo, attorney, sa pag-handle ng House Committee on Justice regarding sa naging hearing?
Well, kung tatanungin mo ako, I think they're playing safe. The House Committee on Justice right now, although the House Chairperson on Justice, Jervy Luistro, is handling it very well, no. Pero the thing is, there are a lot of times na they are playing it safe. Kasi nga, ang sinabi naman dito ni Representative Luistro, that she's afraid na parang they're preventing actually na masubject na naman sila to another petition before the Supreme Court kasi sobrang dami na nga. No, so what they're doing right now is they're always consulting na tama ba to, yung ginagawa natin, yung hindi ba to labag sa batas, which is very good. Pero at the end of the day kasi, ang kailangan lang kasi i-determine dito ng House Committee on Justice is probable cause. So they don't need to parang be very thorough about it. I think they're doing a pretty good job, but I think they're playing it safe. Maganda yung pagkakahandle because you have a lot of lawyers there, Bombo Kevin. Maraming mga constitutional experts, maraming mga human rights lawyer na nakasama po sa House Committee on Justice. And they are helping each other out actually pagdating sa batas.
Sige. Attorney Reyes Del Rosario, attorney, maraming salamat talaga, attorney, sa oras na ibinigay mo sa amin dito sa Bombo Radio at sa ating mga tagapakinig and viewers sa ngayon para magbigay ng guide kasi nga this is the help, ito yung tulong rin na mawala yung misinformation or even disinformation regarding sa mga usaping ito. And thank you din po na you explained regarding nito kay kabalo naman ka, daghan kayo mga misinformation, disinformation, tabangan na to nga ma-fight kini siya. Ilabi na karon niya grabe diha sa social media. Attorney, again, attorney, maraming salamat po. Daghan kayong salamat, attorney Reyes Del Rosario.
Daghang salamat. Daghang salamat, Bombo Kevin, ug sa tanan na minaw diha karon sa Butuan. Salamat.
Si attorney Reyes Del Rosario, mga kabombo.